So you feel like you've mastered your 5K or you're just looking for a new challenge. Hi, I'm Mo and I'm here to give you my top 10 tips about how to hack your 10K. Stay tuned because I'll be sprinkling them throughout the video. Well, first you need to decide on your goal. Are you looking to finish this 10K or are you looking to go for a PB? So you basically just need to decide, are you looking to compete or complete? This decision will dramatically impact how you train for that first 10K. Once you've selected a goal, you can then choose a race. We recommend doing a race that is chip time so you can really nail in on getting that 10K PB. However, when picking a race, there are a few things you should consider. One, the scale of the race. Is it a local race or is it far away from home and quite a small one? Two, the terrain of the race and the route. Is it hilly? Is it not hilly? Is it quite flat? And what terrain will you be running on? And three, just how far away is that race? We'd recommend giving yourself at least 8 to 10 weeks to train for a 10K PB. Pick a date. A 10K can be a little intimidating, but it always helps having a goal there to work towards. And secondly, bring some people with you, friends and family, to see you achieve such a massive achievement. A 10K is no easy feat, and sharing that moment with the ones you love is what it's all about. Find a friend, or you can ask to run it together with a friend. If your time isn't an issue, then running together might be the best way to keep you going when you hit those tougher kilometers. This can be a very fun way to connect with a group of running friends and find a new running buddy. If you're looking for someone to run a 10K with or a perfect race where you're going to meet all these people, then why not head into the Running Channel Club? The link is in the description to tell you a lot more, but we do have a 10K tribe in there. I'm in there, Owen's in there, Tito's in there, we're all in there. So if you don't want to miss out, then make sure you click on that link and join us at the club. So a question we often hear is, will training for a 10K require a lot more time? And I think that really depends on how much running you already do. Stepping up to a 10K from a couch to 5K is a natural progression that you can do, and adding in one long run a week will definitely help you build up that distance. If you are looking for a PB or a specific time, it might be worth carving out a bit more time to follow a more structured training plan, things that will include speed sessions and a variety of other kind of sessions. If you are looking for a free training plan, we have plenty on our website, so make sure you click the link on screen and you can find out more. Top tip, if you have run a 10K before and are looking for a PB, then it might be worth doing distances longer than 10K. One, to just make the actual distance feel a lot more manageable on the day, and two, to build up that aerobic fitness in advance. But I've done enough talking without running, so let me actually do some running now. If this is your first 10K, it can be quite difficult to gauge exactly what your training paces should be. It's not just as simple as doubling your 5K pace, but your 5K pace can be a good place to start as an indicator as to where you should be. Once you have your 5K pace, you can use a pace calculator to predict your 10K time. There are many available online, but a simple way to start testing paces in training is to add between 10 and 20 seconds per kilometer to your 5K pace. If you're running your 5K at 25 minutes, which is about a 5 minute per kilometer pace, then your 10K predicted would be roughly between 51:40 and 53:20. On screen are some examples to get you started. And once you've got your goal pace, it's then time to start building a training plan. As previously mentioned, we recommend giving yourself around 8 to 10 weeks to build up for your first 10K because it allows you to follow the golden 10% rule. The reason we say this is because if you are increasing by 10%, it doesn't then put unnecessary strain on your body, which could result in an injury, which is the last thing you want to do when you're training for a race. So trust me, 10% is the way to go. So when building a 10K plan, it's very important to know that they are super adaptable and you can cater them to your lifestyle and your needs and the paces that you're going to be training at. When I'm personally putting together a 10K plan, I try and incorporate the following runs: your easy run, your long run, and some type of interval session where I can work on my speed. And it's super important to incorporate rest, but we'll talk more on that in a little bit. Let's start with the easy run. This should be a conversational pace, so you should be able to talk like I'm talking to you right now, and this will take up the bulk of your training. The reason behind an easy run is it helps build up your aerobic base without taking too much strain on your body. The second one would be the long run. If you are stepping up your distances from a 5K to a 10K, the long run might seem a bit daunting, but fear not, it's not about pace at all. It's all about just getting time on your feet while you can, and it helps you soak in nature. You can spend time getting that vitamin D, which at this time of year, we definitely all need. Top tip, it might be worth leaving your watch at home. It completely takes the pressure off your pace and you could just go for a long run, around 60 or 70 minutes, and we're just focusing on getting that time on feet. However, speaking of speed, These are some of my favorite runs, and there are so many different types of runs that you can do. So if you are stepping up from a 5 to a 10K, and this is gonna be your first 10K, then you might not have to worry about this. But if you are looking for a PB, then incorporating speed sessions is really gonna help you and get your body used to running at race pace. Multiple types of speed sessions, some include fartleks, intervals, tempos, or hill sessions, and they can all help you understand your pace a bit more. The one thing is, we have made so many videos on these, so if you're interested in finding out more, then make sure you click on one of those.
Another one to add to your arsenal is cross-training. If you can't fit in all your sessions, then cross-training can help build up the neglected muscle groups and keep your momentum going without overloading the same muscle groups over and over. It is a great way to give the muscles you use in running a good rest. It is also good to consider low-impact sports for cross-training, swimming, cycling, and anything else that might take the pressure off those legs while still helping you build a cardio base. I like to add a bit of cycling into my routine personally. It is also great to add in yoga sessions or Pilates. This helps build a strong core foundation and keeps you limber and flexible. Don't forget, strength training is also important to help keep you strong and target specific areas to help with injury prevention. But more on that later.
Tip number 5, prepare for your race conditions. You might be worth trying to run the course or some of the course ahead of race day. Runners that know the course like the back of their hand will have no surprises when it comes to running on the race day. Is your course hilly? It might be worth adding hill reps into your training. Whether that's uphill or downhill, you can practice both. You might think uphill is harder, but knowing how to run downhill confidently can help you shave some seconds off when you're running your race. Go out and run in different conditions. It's absolutely freezing today, but I don't need my jacket because I have actually practiced running in cold temperatures. And because you can't predict the weather on race day, it is always worth being a versatile runner. Someone that is a fair weather runner isn't going to be as versatile or resilient as someone that has practiced running in multiple different conditions. Plan your race, plan your pace. The more you practice your pacing in your training, the more comfortable you can feel with those splits come race day. That's the whole point of having a training plan. So nothing new on race day. And I mean it, I'm looking at you. Tip number 6, and stay with me for this one, warming up and cooling down. I know, we bang on about it all the time, and we might sound like a broken record, but they are so important to add to your running. And if they weren't, Olympians wouldn't do it. So why do you think they do? Ensuring your body is warm and ready to go will keep your muscles in the best possible condition when you reach that start line. And cooling down and doing some stretches are the best foundation for a strong and speedy recovery. It's a no-brainer. The quicker the recovery, the quicker you can get back out there and do more training. The warm-up and cool-down are 2 of the most well-known and yet underrated tips to improving your running and helping you go the distance. And keep your eyes peeled as we will be releasing some follow-along videos in the next few weeks to help keep you focused ahead of your next race. Whilst going out running is the best way to train for running, there are loads of other things you can do to build strength and ensure your body is well prepared for when you are clocking up the miles. Strength and conditioning is a critical component to building a strong foundation to ensure that your body is ready to tackle those miles, and although it can be difficult to know where to start, we have loads of videos on the channel to help. Right, so you've built the perfect training plan, including a variety of runs. You've done your strength training, you've done your cross training. You've researched the course to make sure there's nothing that's going to throw a curveball in your way. And lastly, you've made sure that you've worked on those paces. But there is still one thing missing, and it's my favorite part of running: the nutrition. Maintaining a well-balanced diet will help you throughout your training block and ensuring that you are ready to go on race day. It isn't essential that you do fuel on race day, but if you are going to, then make sure you practice this in your training. When it comes to nutrition, carb loading and race day fueling are very dependent on how long you think you're going to be out there on the course. Anything above 90 minutes, we'd recommend maybe carb loading beforehand or taking on some mid-race fuel. But as always, every single person is individual, so make sure you do what is best for you. Race day breakfast is key, preferably something high in carbs or slow digesting carbs like overnight oats, which is my personal favorite. I also leave around 2 hours between breakfast and race day to ensure that you've had enough time to digest. When it comes to breakfast though, you also do need to test this out. These are things that you can use to practice on your long runs with to make sure that there's nothing surprising you or your gut on race day. You might also want to consider carb loading. This is where you increase your carb intake 2 to 3 days out from race day, but just be mindful not to have too much fiber, as that could mess with your gut when you're about to race. You can also consider hydrating leading up to the race, but if you are going to hydrate the morning of, then ensure you're having at least 500 milliliters with breakfast. Another top tip is add some electrolytes into your water to ensure you're maximizing your hydration on race day. A well-tailored running plan is absolutely no use if you don't take the time to incorporate rest days. Rest days are just as important as running days, and being intentional with them can help make you a better athlete in the long term. I find it best practice to book race days in as well as training days so I can let my body properly relax and unwind. This helps you get the full benefits of recovery time and gives your body the chance to bounce back. A day off and a rest day aren't necessarily the same thing. Try not to do too much strenuous exercise. Instead of a jog, go for a gentle walk and a coffee. Instead of a hard session at the gym, do some light stretching. Intentionality with your rest days can make all the difference. But absolutely none of that matters if you don't stick to the plan, which takes me on to my next point, but it's almost ready for race day, so let's get running. 8 to 10 weeks can feel like a long time to follow a training block, and when life gets busy, you can start to feel a little bit overwhelmed. However, you are not alone in this. Work, social commitments, kids, there's a lot that can happen that can stop you from having the perfect training plan, but it is okay if life throws a curveball. The good news is there are some things that can help focus your mindset to keep you on track when things get tough. Our very own Anna has a mantra that she likes to use to keep her going during her running. Perhaps setting yourself an intention or a short goal, or even having a mantra to have in your back pocket can really help keep you going when times get tough. What is your mantra? Let us know in the comments down below. For me, the thing that helps keep me most focused is accountability, is being the person that I said I'm going to be. And the way I do this is by sharing my goals, be that on social media or telling my friends, so that when times get tough, I can ensure that they are checking in with me to make sure I do all the sessions that I need to do. When it comes to race day, something else that can help you is picking a silent partner, someone maybe just ahead of you that you can use to help keep you going, especially when times get tough. Don't let them out your sight. Okay, so it's race day. You've worked hard, you've trained hard, and now it's just time to enjoy it. But I do have a few last tips for race day to get you going. Number one, don't run out too fast. There is no such thing as banking time, and if you head out too fast, you might pay for it later down the race. Try and pace the race as evenly as possible. You won't win the race in your first few kilometers, but you can definitely lose the race if you pace it incorrectly in your last few kilometers. Try and keep as even a split as possible. You might want to think about negative splitting. This is where you ease yourself into the run, and then by the end, you put your foot on the gas and you completely empty the tank. When done correctly, this can feel phenomenal. Don't go into the race cold. Make sure you warm up. Even taking 10 to 15 minutes before to just shake out any knots could really help you when you come to start the race, as you'll feel in the most primed condition. And lastly, and most importantly, have fun. This is your race. You've worked so hard to be here, so make sure that you do end the race with a smile on your face. But let us know in the comments, are you training for a 10K? And if so, which one are you doing?